Hello from Oz, or g'day from Oz. Give me a second. Just to continue this conversation from this morning, my hunch on what I was talking about using some technical analysis versus Fomo has actually paid off. It hasn't paid off huge, but it has paid off a little bit. eToro is not known for its thin spread, but I have come out in front and not behind because I decided to put money on LTC rising and rising and rising. So I guess the main lesson we can take from this is get your head around some technical analysis. It might seem a bit like a black art, but if you can take some away, it's going to be better than throwing your money down a pokie machine or chucking a dart at a dartboard. So look, not financial advice. I'm not saying how or when and what to make money with. What I am saying is, look, there's information out there. Use it. Knowledge is power. If you can find yourself a better entry point, then so be it. It would have been great if it went from 270 onwards, but I hesitated. I decided to put a short on, and look, it made sense. It touched that level and came back down. Now I'm going to keep an eye on it. eToro won't let me do a trailing stop loss, so I have to keep an eye on it. But we'll see if it touches back down here into the we're looking at 216 or 215 US. Who knows? That might be a good point to buy into and bounce off again. If not, I'll be looking to see what it does around this 235 area if it decides to bounce off. But we need some volume. There's not much going on in the markets. It's a bit quiet, and look, it's a bit maybe Korea. Who knows? Could be some sentiment going on out there, especially with Litecoin. Yeah, there's a huge run there. I know I cashed out. I probably had I bought in around 50, I think it was. Yeah, even back here. Yeah, it was a few months ago, because this is a chart. We're talking about a 3-month chart there from December here. It went absolutely kaboonas. Some profit taking for sure, and you expect that, and you could probably say this is a big retraction, and you can probably find, even if you line up some of your fibs here, you'll find that this is a typical retraction for some profits, to some level, and then a bounce where it's almost like a bull trap, and then they come in and people go, oh, I'm going to buy this because it's low again. And this is where I think really the big guys have probably started getting out long out here, especially this big pullback here. Some nice size volume compared to the rest of the time afterwards. So look, big retraction, bit of a bounce, another retraction, bit of a bounce, and we'll see what happens. This is the keen bit because it's now retracted, and it's going to hold. I would like to see it drop, as I said, anywhere below 200 or 215. I'm starting to look at buying again. Now we move across. Bitcoin is still kind of looking like it's weak. Market's weak. It still looks like it's coming down on this initial retraction down here. Look at the big impulse all the way up, and if you look at this, that makes sense. All the way up, touches some of these levels where the people are taking profit here, and they're going to it finds support and resistance at this spot, and then it goes down and hits another level, and then it goes down. I reckon the big boys are out of town by now, and you can see this is where all the big action's happening, and from here on in, it's people buying in, maybe day traders causing this, but either way, it's the market, the volume's dropping off, and I want to see what it's going to do off my intent, what I think is a trend line up here. If it breaks this, comes down. At the moment, it can't seem to hold 14,300. Comes down, but it gets up to 14,300. Can't hold. I reckon it's on its way down to 12,500, and then you can start looking at other previous support levels. 12.5 support level of around about or back here. You have to go back in time now. Oops. Control Z. We're going to go back in time. And you're going to look at this initial impulse. It's going to set the tone for us. And you can see here, 12.6. Just under 11, so 11th hour. This is where we'd love to see it, 9. And even down here would be, oh yeah, 8,008. Yeah, so look, it all depends. You just got to keep an eye on these levels. And the volume. The volume is a bit slow at the moment, so I'm a bit hesitant about doing anything with Bitcoin. The one I am looking at though with a bit more optimism is ZRX. Just because it hasn't really broken. It hasn't come down, it's just gone up, down, and it's kind of, you can see these levels where it's just corrected and it's on its way. At the moment, it'll be interesting to see. I'm going to swing this out. Interesting what it does here, because that's where it is now, and I couldn't tell you what it's sitting at. Oh, it's actually pretty easy to go and coin market cap. I think it's $2. No. So yeah, ZRX, I've still got my eyes on. I sold half my stake when the news came out, but I wasn't going to sell all my stake, no way. Especially because it has done well. Yeah, it's about $2.07 at the moment. Now, I'm interested to know if I guess, having a look at those levels, that's a dono, sorry. I'm interested to know if it's going to break $2. Gonna keep an eye on this, because if there's some volume, you see some, oh, I love volume. This gives you clear indication something's happening. It's not just, you know, a couple of small hands moving a few coins around. It's dropped off a bit, so that might be what's happening. But if it bounces off this line, I still think of it's going up. I still think this is one of the good coins for the next few months. To me, it seems to have weathered the storm better in the last week or two with the news. Here's an example of a coin that's gone up but hasn't weathered the storm. Cardano. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned. I'd like to see it bounce off this and go on its merry way. It looks like this is where its support and resistance is. What is it now? 88. Now, it is definitely a coin to keep an eye on. It's one of the few coins that's got some substance in the team and peer reviewed. So look, I'm intrigued what they do, and at that price I might come back in, and it's sitting at 78 cents. I don't know how well this has been updated. Let's have a look in the scheme of things. It's amazing how you look at on graphs and they're slightly different. This looks a bit more recessed on my coining than it does on coin market cap. It's a bit misleading, and I guess that might be something I've noticed as well. Like even with eToro, the way they mislead, so you almost feel like you're buying. Because if you look at this one, you'd go, oh shit, something's on its way down. Even if what hours we're looking at? We're looking at 12 hours, so we're not looking at, you know, small amounts of time. Yeah, one day. Even then, that still doesn't line up to. One of these things is not like the other. Okay, so I guess the point from that is, if you're looking at this to try and give you a visual aid, doesn't feel right. I like this. I'm going to pay for my coin dinghy. Between that and TradingView, I was umming and ahhing, but just here it seems a bit cheaper. Not promoting, but just talking about it because I've started using it in the last week or two. Yeah, I would think it's going to bounce off 78. So let's say 75. Yeah, 70 to 75 cents. I might buy back in around then, depending if the volume starts to pick up. Again, look at the volume here. It booms. There's some good volume here. And this is when all the hype and all the craps. And remember, hype talk, buy the rumor, sell the news. So some pretty good movement there, and that's probably because it's just come out, just got the eye of a few investors, and the crowds are talking about it. Boom. Obviously, there's going to be some profit taking. Then kaboom, 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 up here. Small amount of profit taking because I don't think the news is fully hit. I think the news come out only a couple of days ago, and typical as it comes out, dunk, 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 all the profit taking, right back to all the people that probably bought in here. Yeah, they would have probably sunk all their, taken all their money out, and all those who bought in around here are the ones living around this zone right now. Okay, I've got to admit, I bought in, and I reckon I rode that spike. And I thought, whoa, and I got out there only to see this happen. Fair enough. I didn't know technical analysis at that time, and I probably didn't look at graphs that much, but I guess the value of that lesson is, yes, you probably start reading these things a bit better. But again, I think this is it's a coin of the future. If this is where it's going to bounce from, it won't come back afterwards, I don't think. Once it comes from here and decides to continue in a merry way, and if it decides to get some good news behind it, it's going to go. This is one that gave the market cap a good romp a few weeks ago, especially when it hit its peak. I think it overtook Litecoin and a few others. But the problem is, it's one of those, when they come out with the news, that people realise, oh, wait up, it's not quite there yet. Yeah, well, what do you expect? This is this is crypto space. Okay, so basically my call on Cardano is I'm watching. If it hits 70 cents, I might put in a long hand. ZRX, I'm ready to put a long hand in now. I've already got one in from ICO. I sold out, and I'm hoping I can probably put some of that back in, buy in on this dip, and go out again. Bitcoin, I'm not in a rush to do anything with. Still waiting to see which direction it goes. Not enough volume, and it looks like it could curtail down. And Litecoin, hurry up. I want to see this thing boom. I'd love to see $1,000, $1,500 by the end of the year. I'd be happy to. I sold a lot. I'm happy to buy back in. I think it's a coin that it just keeps doing what it does. In fact, one of the laughing comments I had, and I'll close on this. Why the hell would anyone buy Litecoin? It's a shit coin. The only reason people used it was because of the Bitcoin backlog from the transactions. That's when all mum and dads got in. And it's about, I reckon, the same time, if we can line them up. But when the Bitcoin craze started really hitting a peak a few weeks ago to a month ago, there was something like $8 billion worth of backlog transactions, 200,000 transactions waiting pending. That's not something that can work in the modern day world. I think the Bitcoin, whilst it's gold standard, I don't think it's, unless it scales up and can meet the demands and do what Visa and all that can do, which is 10,000 plus transactions a second, and the cost was astronomical during that peak. I think Bitcoin has set the tone and it's laid down the foundations, but so these coins like Litecoin and I guess to a lesser extent Neos and that, but it's the coins that can move value around at low cost, at quick pace, are gonna basically overcome. In fact, I think we're starting to not argue this. There's a bit of a decoupling coming on where Ethereum might be the Ethereum and another pair might be the standard, because if you look at Bitcoin dominance, it's gone to 32%, and I'll show you, it wasn't long when it was about 55%. Waiting. Okay, so I reckon 3 months ago it would have been travelling on about 55% dominance. Yeah. Let's go 3 months. Yeah, or actually less than that. If we go back a month ago, it was travelling at 65% dominance. And you look at a couple of dark horses down here. I reckon that'll be Neo. Not Neo, Ethereum. No, Ethereum's that one there. But you can just see the divide catching up. To be honest, I've always used fiat because that's how I'm going to buy my house. A lot of people swear on using BTC and Ethereum as the pairs. Each to their own, I guess. But yeah, this is the problem when you start using those pairs, is the volatility. It starts to show. And at the end of the day, you can't buy your house, or you can. Australia's got one or two first houses on their market that you can buy Bitcoin, but it's going to be a messy situation. There's still going to be taxes paid and title signed, so deed signed, I guess. Alright, I'm out of here. I'm going to go and do my research. I'm having a look at WePower. It sounds like something my kids would get into. Now, there we go. I'll just show you this LTC sale. 247. This is my problem with eToro. Look, I bought with a $5 spread to start with, and if I want to sell, I'm going to have another, oh shit, $9 spread. That's just crazy. But I'm trying to get rid of my money in eToro because it's going to cost me more to transact it than it will to be actually what I'll cash out. So, hooroo from Australia. Just thought I wanted to say, technical analysis is good. Not a pro at it, but I guess some is better than nothing. And you can, and with this amount of time, if you're thinking about doing this for a few years, I imagine it doesn't hurt to put a little bit of time to invest into getting to know. As I said, it gives me some idea. I'm going to do some dry runs with what I'm learning, and we'll see if they work. Then I'll keep using them full time. Alright everyone, take it easy. Hooroo from Australia.